No slides. No pictures. I'm just going to talk for the first few minutes. I'm going to share a whole bunch of stuff with you all. And then we'll just run through some images. Because it's going to be a bit of a rambling discussion in the sense that I am going to talk about many things. Hopefully, some things will make sense. But before we begin, I would like to thank Sarita very much for giving me this opportunity to come here and speak to all of you and share some of the experiences that I've had in my life. It's been quite a journey. And like Sarita mentioned earlier, I've known her for many years, from the time she was a young writer with Inside Outside, many years. Many years ago. And even though both our careers have kind of taken us in different directions and we've not kept in touch on a regular basis, whenever we have connected, it's been like no time has passed. That has been the strength of that relationship, and it's great to get back in touch, and hopefully we're going to be doing a lot more exciting stuff together. So let me begin. I hope all of you were inspired by that LG presentation, by the way, because that was really inspiring, wasn't it? Makes you all want to go out and buy air conditioners. Yeah? Cochin is a wonderful place. It's great to be back. Kerala is absolutely very close to my heart, and it's been 4 years since I've come to Kerala, so it's been a pretty long time, possibly too long, but it's great to be back and share some of this with you all. You guys call this God's own country, right? So you don't need air conditioning. It's like natural air conditioning. Look at the amount of trees and foliage that you have. It's absolutely beautiful. But one of the things that I noticed when I was coming in from the airport today was the extent of development that's taking place in Kerala. And obviously all of you are very much a part of that development. New hotels and resorts, new IT parks, I watched the hoardings as I drove in, and tremendous changes are happening. Kerala is not that sleepy little town that it used to be before. It doesn't have that sleepy old world kind of atmosphere. Maybe parts of it still do, but to a large extent it's a large bustling state with lots of activity taking place. And this is not just in Kerala, it's all over the country. I'm sure all of you are aware of that. I'd like to begin by talking about architecture as a profession. It's a tremendous privilege to be an architect. In this world, as architects, I think every one of us, I don't practice architecture anymore, but I always feel so much a part of the community. I always refer to myself as an architect still. But as architects, I think we have a tremendous privilege and a tremendous responsibility in terms of what we do. And this responsibility and privilege is even more critical in today's world. Like I said earlier, I'm going to ramble a little bit, so I'm going to talk a little bit about architecture. Don't expect only photography, because there's lots of things that I'd like to share with you. In today's world, with all the shifting sands and changing directions that are taking place, it is even more critical that we stay firmly rooted in what we truly believe in as architects. It's very easy to get carried away with the commerce and with the ability to make quick money and do things and put up buildings in 2 days, whatever it might be. The important thing is to understand and realize that at a time when India is kind of at the crossroads of great things in the future, it is critically important for architects and designers to be very, very firmly embedded in the ground. That means solid foundations, good solid foundations. And I'm sure most of you have laid those foundations and you still hold by those foundations, but things are changing so quickly, it's easy to get carried away. It's easy to move in different directions and get tempted by this and tempted by that. But therein lies a danger of choosing the wrong path. But enough of the lecture bit. But one of the things that we are facing at these crossroads in India is to balance an international look, the international dimension with the Indian ethos. We are very quickly losing our identity as Indians. Culture, traditions, we are holding on to. And one of the strongest things that we have, which we can hold on to and which is physically manifest in our surroundings, is our architecture, is our sense of design, is our sense of materials, is our workmanship, is our pride in workmanship. It is a time when we are developing, and extremely important to develop, a uniquely Indian identity. Many architects have come along the way and have tried in their own ways to develop this uniquely Indian identity. But those were times when there was time to do that. Now we don't have time to do that anymore. We don't have that luxury of time anymore. Things are moving very, very quickly. And in that speed, it's very easy to get caught up in and shed everything behind you and move forward in a direction which is not really rooted. The opportunities that there are tremendous. So we are at a time when these opportunities are facing us, and as architects, I think I come back to the point about responsibility. I think every one of us shares in that privilege of being an architect, because it's a very, very special profession. More importantly, the responsibility, and that's something that we need to take very, very seriously now, because this is the time when things can change very quickly. And especially young architects out there, people who are just beginning their careers or in the early days of their career, it's very important to stay rooted. Now, that's just a little bit of an introduction kind of thing about what I'm going to talk, but primarily what I'm going to share with you is my story. I figured when Sarita said, can you share with us some of your thoughts and feelings and experiences in this forum, I thought to myself, okay, now what do I talk about? I've never been invited to speak like this before. And I was extremely nervous. My first reaction was saying, no, why me? But she said, no, listen, people will find it interesting. So I said, okay. So I thought I'd come here and I'd basically share with you all my story. I'll begin with why I chose architecture. In the mid-70s, architecture was one of the professions that one could get into. A lot of people didn't know what architecture was about. You had to be a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer. That people understood. I've been taking pictures since I was 13 years old, and in the mid-70s, photography was not a viable career alternative. When I said photography, people would say, good hobby, but you can't do that, you can't make a living out of it. So I had to choose something. Now I read somewhere that architecture was the mother of all the arts. And I knew what I didn't want to do. I didn't want to be a lawyer, I didn't want to be an accountant, I didn't want to be an engineer. So I chose architecture because I was very, very interested in design. And I thought, okay. Then I realized, through a little bit of research, I realized that it is the one profession, architecture, and I'd like to really share this because most of you would already know this, but this is kind of a little feeder. I want to tease you all with some thoughts which possibly kind of lie dormant within you. Architecture is the only profession on this planet that deals directly with the physical, the emotional, and the mental health of every human being. It is critical to our lives. And that, for me, was a very powerful, emotional kind of move towards the profession. So I chose to do architecture. I couldn't study photography, so I said, okay, I'll do architecture and I will keep doing my photography. I was always fascinated with design. In nature, we see design everywhere. I mean, if you take a leaf, you take a flower, you take the human body, you take any aspect of nature around us, the natural environment, you see design in every little thing and every big thing. There is a tremendous sense of creativity and design which is out there, which is available for all of us to learn from. So for me, that was a great fascination. And of course, when I started traveling a little bit, I realized that not only in nature was there design, but in this country we had such diversity of design and creativity over the centuries that it inspired me greatly. And I remember one thing my dad told me, like all 17-year-olds, I wanted to go abroad. I used to say in those days especially, Dad,